But what if 62 children all swore they had seen a UFO and an alien being step out of it? In what is one of the most extraordinary cases in recent history, that was exactly what happened in Ruwa, Africa.
It's the 14th of September, 1994. The continent is Africa, the country Zimbabwe. Specifically, the capital Harare, a township about 20 miles outside of Harare called Ruwa. Located there is a private school by the name of the Ariel School. The time is 10 a.m. The children are outside taking their morning break. A large number of these children see in the sky their words, 3 silver balls with flashing red lights. As they watched the balls moving around, one of them gradually descended. And they said it either hovered very close to the ground or it landed just to the edge of their playing area where there was a fence. A little man gets out, described as follows: about 1 meter high, wearing a shiny black suit, dark hair, or appeared to be dark hair down to the shoulders, very pale face, but most distinctly the eyes. That really scared them. It then fixed its gaze on the children and stared at them for seconds while they all stood transfixed. It then got back into the craft and they all saw it fly off. Now, there were 62 of these kids who bore testimony to this incident. It very quickly drifted out and people outside would begin to hear about this encounter. And within a couple of days, an investigative journalist by the name of Cynthia Hind arrived with her entourage. She'd been given permission by the headmaster, Colin Mackay, to interview the children and did so at length. She asked them to draw on a piece of paper the craft. And making allowances for the different skill levels and the age differences, it was pretty clear that 62 children were on the same page, telling the same story, giving the same account. And after spending a day or two there, she on camera had filmed the interviews, said, with a look of incredulity on her face, actually uttered the immortal words, very appropriate words: why would 62 children lie? It's a good point. About a week or so afterwards, it reached the ears of a famous, celebrated Harvard psychiatrist called John Mack. And upon hearing of this tale, was intrigued enough to want to take it further and went down to the school. Saw the headmaster and got permission to carry out a series of interviews, which he did over a spread of 2 days, during which time he taped the conversations and filmed them. It was all recorded. After 2 days of deliberation and in questioning by a professional man of very high standing, he held up his hands and said on camera, "It is what it is." This is a scene from Ruwa, where the children were asked to draw what they saw. You can see that they're placing tremendous emphasis on the eyes. Indeed, one of the drawings actually shows the eyes protruding from the head, out of scale, which I think is reflective of how much they were influenced by the image in the eyes, which scared them. Basic psychological tests for children is when they're trying to establish which parent is dominant, they ask the child to draw their parents, irrespective of scale, because kids don't pay much attention to scale in that respect. And the one that they draw the largest will be the dominant parent. This here clearly shows how much they were influenced by what they saw, and the eyes in particular, all pointing very clearly at what for them was a very real situation. I think which indicates the truth of this event. Anyone who's had children would know how hard it is to get them on the same page for anything. Indeed, how would you get 62 kids to stay on the same page for 2 days under interrogation? I think it's shouting out, this is a true account of an alien craft that landed and an alien being got out of it strangely featured, which left a distinct impression of these kids. That's beyond question, I think, if you look at this rationally.